Anti-derivative Jill.
Oh, hey.
Greetings and felicitations.
Hello, I'm Anti-Derivative Jill, and this is Indefinite Lunch and Infinite Combinations, number 83. And we're continuing to watch Star Trek, the original series. We're on season 3, episode 4, in production order. And so we're on the Enterprise incident. But it's actually the second episode in broadcast order. Airing on September 27th, 1968. And today we have pop culture curator here with us today, and he was missing last week, so I'm so glad you're here this time.
So am I, and yeah, I apologize about last week, but yeah, good to be here now, and I'm feeling good, ready to go.
Oh, I'm glad you're feeling good. Well, no, I know you had to miss for important reason, and also I did invite, since he's in the episode, I did invite Sub Commander Tall, but he could not be here today. But but he did send his condolences for that. But he had he has important family things. And also today we have Scotty R37.
Hello. Welcome back, Pop. Hello to the chat.
Thank you. Good to see you all. Good to see everybody in the chat.
Yeah, it is great to see everybody in the chat. So reference to production of these episodes includes content from Star Trek 365, which I learned about from Mikkel Briggs, who of course is co-host to the Clobburn Times channel's great show, Saturday Night Star Trek, which is on at 9 p.m. Central Time. And right now they're in the middle of Voyager, continuing through season 3. And so I'll also make references from These Are the Voyages by Mark Cushman, because he has some great material in there. Any other references I make, I'll cite as I go along. And Scotty, is he on in?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, oh, it sounded like you.
No, that was my pooch.
Oh, that was a puppy yawn. Oh. That's cute. So even though my slides go in order, I don't mind if you want to talk about different parts of the episode to help with that. I'll read the preview for the Enterprise incident from the 365 book as a bit of a refresher. So here it is. The Enterprise incident. Romulan commander says, "It is unworthy of a Vulcan to resort to subterfuge." And Spock says, "You're being clever, Commander. That is unworthy of a Romulan." After an erratic Kirk takes the Enterprise into Romulan territory without authorization from Starfleet, the starship is immediately surrounded by Romulan vessels that demand the surrender of the captain and his crew. Kirk and Spock beam over to the Romulan flagship to meet with its female commander. But Spock refuses to confirm the captain's explanation that his trespassing was the result of an equipment malfunction. Instead, the Vulcan declares that Kirk is suffering from diminished mental stability and that he acted under his own volition. McCoy is summoned to the Romulan vessel to assess Kirk's condition, but the captain, infuriated at Spock's betrayal, attacks his first officer. Spock responds instinctively, defending himself by using the Vulcan death grip and killing Captain Kirk. So I'm glad that you're all here today. Oh no, all my windows just closed. Hold on.
Oh no.
They all fell down.
Darn windows.
I know, right?
Did God open a door when all of those windows closed?
Yeah, I'm very excited because I made a new video that I can use to thank everyone who have either decided to become a member or received a gift. So everybody who decided to become a member or received a gift from somebody to become a member are on this list. And I wanted to share this video now since it's the first time I'm presenting it. But most of the time it's just going to show up at the end of the live stream. So here it is.
Hooray!
Of course, it says "see you next time." So,
Nice.
of course, so it's meant to be played at the end.
Very cool.
Good work.
Yeah, thank you, and I'm glad you like it. But I also need to say hello to the chat. Hello to Captain Finity, and Franco Walker gave us our first vote. And Stone Rocket says, "This is my favorite third season Star Trek episode." Oh, I could see that. It's not perfect, and sure, it's a bit contrived, but it's a whole lot of fun. Agreed. Snortopoopas Cuber says, "Hello, humans and other critters."
Poopas.
And so I'm letting everybody know I want to be late, and I was, and I'm here. Stone Rocket says, "Yo, Matt G, let's start a rumor that Taylor Swift will be starring in the next Star Trek film as an Andorian ambassador." That's funny. Okay, so Matt G says, "Did you see my diner food pic from yesterday?" Oh, no, I need to go check the Discord. I haven't checked it in a little bit. Stone Rocket says, "A little extra time. Do you mean like with the Romulan commander taking a little bit of extra time for the soldier to transform herself into a woman?" Oh, right. And Housebox says he'll take the Enterprise to Romulus after, but he just needs an extra hour.
Well, that's for
Episode
the
gets really hot.
yeah.
Apparently she's not aware of Pon Par.
Yeah, no, but he really sells it.
Yes.
Even though they're related, they're cousins. It makes some kind of sense that since they're separated, since Romulans left Vulcan, that Romulans might not know as much about Vulcan culture.
Right.
Because
Well, she
there's
didn't
a
know about
distance.
she didn't know about the Vulcan death grip.
Yeah, that too. The non-existent Vulcan death grip. I couldn't read that without laughing. That's always fun.
Now there are multiple instances of Spock lying, which
Of
I
course.
would like to point out that whoever told you that Vulcans can't lie was probably a Vulcan.
Yes. But they have logical reasons for lying, but it's totally true. They do lie. Sortopoopas Cuber says, "And I tend to believe that the commander didn't survive her return to the Empire for long. Tal would have had the long knives out for her." And that ends all my speculations for today. Oh. That, yeah. You know what? You're probably right, Snarf. I think some people. Yeah.
I wonder if the Tal Shiar exists at this point in Romulan history.
Well, Ira Stephen Bear made it canon. I don't even want to mention it, but since it's real Star Trek, Ira Stephen Bear made it canon that Section 31 exists. So why not Tal Shiar? Anyway.
Well, it makes more sense for the Tal Shiar to be like. It makes more sense for the Romulans to have a secret police.
Yeah, it does.
Or political officers, as you would in The Hunt for Red October.
Snorpoopa says, "Not this bear. I don't ship. I'm too cheap to pay the freight." Oh, hey. Ariba Bell says, "What's up, Plessy Nation? I'm checking in quickly before going back to work at 12:30. Oh, I missed you. Well, I'm so glad you were here for a minute. Great to see you. Stop by. The Vulcan Death Grip episode, he also says. Spock gets his 007 on, and perfectly so, too. I think he's great and absolutely hot.
You could tell that Dorothy Fontana likes Spock, obviously.
Well, there was a thing where she didn't even write this. It wasn't even her idea to make the Romulan commander a woman. It was Fred's idea to make, and then Arthur, who doesn't know Star Trek, the story consultant, started making Spock kiss all over the commander, and then Spock, Leonard Nimoy was like, no, that can't happen. And then Dorothy came in and fixed it, and she did an amazing repair to that. With the dialogue and everything is really good. Oh, Stone Rocket has a question. Does anyone here have... That was an abbreviated version of that story, but I have more information on that. Does anyone here have the Star Trek Panic board game? Its Vulcan Mind Meld promo card is a picture of Spock giving Kirk the Vulcan Death Grip from this episode. Those balls at Fireside Game. Oops. Oh man, that's messed up. You got to pay attention to which screen capture you're grabbing and what the context is from it.
Well, it's like that.
It's not
It's like that.
Damn it. Oops. Sorry.
It's like that meme with Patrick Stewart saying "You're a wizard, Harry" by Gandalf.
Oh, I love that. That's intentionally trying to piss people off.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that also adds in Star Wars and also Doctor Who, also just mixing everything together. Franco says that's true. He does seem to spend a lot of time going to and from Mexico.
Canadian Spider-Man?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know what the reference is to that. Oh, yeah, it is. Franco, I don't know. That's a question for Canadian Spider-Man. So there you go. Torn from the headlines. Look up the USS Pueblo incident. Yes, that's correct. Right? That's right. So this episode first aired on September 27th, 1968, written by DC Fontana. And as much as I like this episode, she doesn't like some of the things that were rewritten, which is understandable because Fred Freeberger and Arthur Singer both don't understand Star Trek. But I think she does a really great job helping get this script going, even with their meddling in there. And actually, I kind of like some of the things they suggest, like changing the commander to a woman is really cool. So it also was directed by John Meredith Lucas, who I think does a great job as director, and he did a good job in season 2. I think the show would have been better off if he was showrunner instead of, or him or Bob Justman would have been better than Fred. Anyway.
Anybody but Freiberger.
Yeah, anybody. Even if he accidentally has a good idea every once in a while, he messes things up.
Accidentally, yes. Oops.
Snartapoopa says, it's describing a cheeseburger. For some reason. A patty melt? Is that for lunch?
Delicious.
Yeah.
But a patty melt is different than a cheeseburger because it doesn't use a hamburger bun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, right. It's all the same thing to me, whether you use Texas toast or seasoned or sesame seed bun. They're all cheeseburgers to me.
All right then.
But Gorilla's random thought says automatic A for a horny Romulan, and it wasn't Kirk who seduced her. Well, they seduced each other, which is what was really cool. I mean, obviously, well, it was Spock seducing her, but in the end, Spock was not unaffected Commander Tall is too busy rising up the ranks. And James Caserta says he had places to go and people to kill.
Figuratively.
Uninstall. Oh, wait. He's telling me to uninstall something.
Uninstall Windows and reinstall it. That'll work.
Oh, okay. Yes, that won't take too much time, guys. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Oh, and Snortopoopas Cuber became a member. Oh, my goodness.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the channel. I think I dropped that. Let me see where it is. He became a series superstar. Awesome. Thank you so much, Snortopoopas. I love that. Oh, yeah, and Stream Elements is telling me. Very helpful. Also, Lemon Pie says hello. Hail, Jill, Pop, and Scotty.
Lemon.
Hello, Lemon Pie. Good to see you.
JG Kirk says the Burr has joined the elite club. Snortopoopas says, as Murburr used to say, join the club or be clubbed. Scary. Suzanne Eckstein says hello. Hello, Suzanne, and hello to Miss Martin Muses. So great to see you. I like the myth. I like the myth that Vulcans can't lie.
And also, I'm wondering if it could be chalked up to Spock's human half as well. Maybe like true Vulcans are less prone to misleading others.
Yeah, Spock does have an ability to understand humanity better because he has his human half. So we don't know how much of that, how much of his character is from that versus being Vulcan, even though he has chosen the Vulcan path.
Well, it's not until Wrath of Khan does somebody actually call him on it when Savik says, "You lied." But the commander here could have said that because she says early in the episode, she says Vulcans are incapable of lying, and at the end she should have said, "You lied."
Mm-hmm.
So
that would have been great.
Right, so he's not really called on it until Star Trek 2.
And then it's a whole running gag in Star Trek 6, too.
Yes.
A Vulcan FU, says James Caserta. Also, hello. This is the episode where we get to see Scotty get all fangirly about Kirk's Romulan cosplay. Oh, yeah, we're not there yet, but...
I do like it.
Well, you look like the devil himself, but as long as you're...
As long as you're alive.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that's sort of the emotional equivalent of when Spock sees Kirk alive in Amok Time.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a little more impactful in Amok Time, but that is really exciting. Yeah, it's really cute. And, well, I love when the whole bridge gets to see that he's alive. They're all crowding around him like, what? And hello to the Comic Relief Crusader.
Hello. We are Jill.
Great to see everybody. And Claude Parrish.
Claude.
Liars always say they can't lie. I learned that from my ex-wife. Classic Comics says, I exaggerated.
Hey, Classic.
And Susan Dolan. Hey, Susan.
Susan.
And Herc 130.
Hey, Herc.
So, oh, yeah, I have slides, don't I? You probably need to get those out.
Oh, let's roll them out. Now, it's interesting that they sort of refer to the cloaking device as being new technology, even though we saw it all the way back in the first season.
Well, it's not so much that it's new technology. It's a new upgrade. It's Romulan cloaking upgrade, because the first time we saw it in Balance of Terror, Spock was able to detect movement. So the cloaking device wasn't completely undetectable.
Makes sense.
And now it is, even from other Romulans.
And this is another one of the episodes that is greatly enhanced by the modern special effects. I do enjoy them.
I enjoy them too. I haven't seen the original effects. I didn't download the video for the comparison. But if we have time in the end, I'll check it out.
Well,
And
and I'm
last but not
curious. Oh, sorry.
oh wait, what are you curious about?
Oh, I was just curious if that was one of the upgrades, is incorporating the Romulan ship as well as the 2 Klingon ships. Because if I, for some reason, and I could be mistaken, I just remember the 3 Klingon ships in the original special effects.
Oh, well, you saw the original special effects, didn't you?
Well, ages ago, yeah. This is, again, 3rd season. 3rd season is not one that I revisit very often, and this is certainly not an episode that I revisit very often.
Well, you watched it. You watched it this morning, though.
With the new special effects.
Oh, okay, good.
And they did, yeah, they incorporated the Romulan warbird, but I don't know if that was incorporated in the original special.
That's a good question. That's right. Was there's a thing with that model that they couldn't find it, but I need to look in the Cushman book to see if they say anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't get too deep into the Voyages book, but I'll scroll through that a little later and we'll find it. Or I could scroll through it now and find it. Let's see. This is the actor stuff. Production diary. Martin Luther King. Oh, why are they mentioning that? Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Romulan. Like, are they gonna? Let's see if there's. Let's see. Roddenberry, the. I don't know. I'll have to look into that one. But anyway, DC Fontana's inspiration, as someone mentioned in the chat, did come from the Pueblo incident, which involved the capture of an American patrol boat, the USS Pueblo, by North Korean forces during the Vietnam War. The incident occurred January 23rd, 1968, just 2 months before Fontana completed her first draft storyline. So Fontana says it was really based on the Pueblo incident in the sense that here's this ship caught spying and they have to find a justification for their being there. Kirk's sanity is put on the line in terms of why they're there. And of course, they have to get out safely, preferably with the information they came for. Now, that's not what happened with Pueblo, but the Pueblo incident kicked off this line of thinking in my mind. So it was a bit of an inspiration to have Kirk take the fall for the Federation, so the Federation didn't have to go into war, and so it just looks like Captain Kirk's gone crazy and wants to invade the Romulans. And so this is episode that starts with the medical log by Dr. McCoy. Would you like to read it, Pop Culture Curator? Let's see in the private chat.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. Enterprise medical log, start date 5027.3. Dr. Leonard McCoy recording. I'm concerned about Captain Kirk. He shows indications of increasing tension and emotional stress. I can find no reason for the captain's behavior except possibly that we've been on patrol too long without relief and diversion. He has resisted all my attempts to run the psychological profile on him. And I thought that was odd because as they established in the Doomsday Machine, I thought the doctor had say over getting a psychological exam. I thought if he orders it, that even the captain has to agree to it, but I guess I could be wrong.
Well, I do think that the chief medical officer has a right to question matters of medicine, like if it seems like the captain is mentally unstable. He does have the power to say, hey, something's wrong here.
Right. Well, especially ordering them over into the neutral zone. You think that would be okay? That's enough. You're coming down for a psychological exam.
Mm-hmm. And Stone Racket says the original Romulan ship model had already been discarded, so third season Trek went cheapo and purchased the AMT model kit for the Klingon D7 battlecruiser.
Well, and based on the production order that we've had, this is the first broadcast appearance of the D7, but it was in production. It had been made for Ilan of Troyes.
And oh, hey, hello. Cinema Gulp says it's always funny how small the original Enterprise bridge main view screen is.
It's true. I think my dad has the same size television in his basement.
Well, I think it looks about right. I think it because I always thought the one in TNG was too big. The whole bridge was too big. It looked like a hotel lobby. So I think maybe that's why the TOS screen looks small to people. I think they're used to the larger screens.
True.
I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Interesting. James Caserta says Spock was indoctrinated early by his uncle, the Romulan commander from Balance of Terror. And Stone Rocket says that is the third season Trek producers purchased 2 of the AMT Klingon D7 battle cruisers. And hello to Canadian Spider-Man. Good morning.
Hey, Spidey.
Hello, Spidey. Good to see you there.
Snorty says, I like that they changed one of the D7s to a bird of prey for the remaster. So there's your answer, Scotty.
Sweet. It is
Glad you
nice.
got that. It is. Because I know that there's something to do with that, and I wanted to know what it was. Thank you so much, guys, for helping me in the chat. So, yeah, so Kirk decides to go to the neutral zone, and not just go to the neutral zone, but straight through to Romulan territory. Supposedly without any authorization. Of course, we do know that he has it, but at this point, nobody knows that, except for Spock. Although thought otherwise from the very first draft, the Romulans used Klingon ships. So from the very first draft of the script, I suppose they knew that they were going to use the D7 because they had a lot of money invested in the model. This is what Memory Alpha says. I'm not sure what the actual truth is. This is unverified. I don't know for sure. They needed to get the money's worth, and Romulans used Klingon disruptor pistols, and that's true. They did do that. Even though Spock said it was so Spock couldn't detect the Romulans, and his theory is that they've got a much better cloaking system. And so, of course, that's true. Everybody already knows that because that is the whole mission. Hey, chat, please don't forget to like and share the stream. I did, and it made me grow an inch.
Results may vary from subscriber to subscriber.
Snortopupus Cuber says the Enterprise D looked like a luxury hotel. I like the ships that look a little more cramped and businesslike. Yeah, because remember this is supposed to be Navy analog. This is like being in a submarine, a little more compact.
Yeah, and I think Gene Roddenberry was trying to get away because remember he didn't like them being military-like. That's why he hated Wrath of Khan and some of the others. And plus adding families aboard the Enterprise D. I think a lot of that was Gene Roddenberry.
Children on the spaceship. Wait, we're not in the next episode yet. Let's not talk about that. I'm alluding to the fact that "And the Children Shall Lead" will be next week's episode.
Everybody's favorite.
Yeah, everyone's favorite. And so Spock's like, if you didn't go to the neutral zone, we wouldn't be doing this right now. And so you're just like, whoa, Spock usually didn't talk to Kirk that way. And Kirk usually isn't insane. So it's a lot of fun seeing our characters act completely out of character. And for reasons that we find out throughout the episode.
Yeah, I wonder how they decide which transporter pads to stand on. Because usually they stand in the front, and in this episode they stood in the back. But oh well.
It's all Scotty figures it out.
Yeah, I think that was because of the simultaneous transport they had to have. And it would probably, production-wise, would have been easier to do a left and right situation. But I think it's so that there wasn't an overlap on the transport. And we get the reveal of the Romulan commander.
Yes, they did a officer exchange so that like a hostage exchange. So that
I did like that look on Scotty's face. You could tell he was not intimidated at all.
Oh no, yeah, and then he puts his hands on his hips. It's really
Yes.
cool. He's like, yeah, you guys have your disruptors, but I'm not worried. So Joanne Linville, this is from the Cushman book, was hired to play the Romulan commander. She was 40 and wife of Mark Rindle, the director of I Spy.
Ooh.
And one of her first jobs in the 50s was the Kaiser Aluminum Hour as Gwendolyn. Which, okay, they mentioned this because it was an episode that had William Shatner in it. And she and Shatner appeared together in the 1958 the United States Steel Hour, and in 1961 for an episode of The Defenders. Wow, she worked a lot with Shatner. Linville also worked with Nimoy in a 1962 episode of the drama Sam Benedict. Other sci-fi and fantasy genre appearances included The Passers-By, a 1961 Twilight Zone, where she plays the widow of a Confederate soldier during the American Civil War, who is reunited with her dead husband. And 2 episodes of One Step Beyond and One More for the Invaders. She was the top female guest star in Gunsmoke, Route 66, The Fugitive, I Spy, Hawaii Five-0, and The Streets of San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
And did you see when her daughter played her daughter in real life played her character's daughter in it's one of the Star Trek band productions. They're one of the good ones.
I think
Star
it was
Trek.
Was it Continues?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think she plays the same character. She plays
the same character or the daughter of, yeah, but she looked really good. She looked just like her. I think it was amazing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's really awesome. They were going to give it to Lee Grant first, but I'm glad that Linville got it, because I'll look at all her history with Shatner and Nimoy already. And she says, in those days of television when you had a lot of film of yourself, there was no going in and reading for the part. I was called and told by my agent, you're going to be in California on this date. Have somebody meet you at the airport. And so what are you saying oh my to, Scotty?
Oh, just in terms of Lee Grant. Apparently she was an Academy Award nominated actress. And so, but she, Linville is iconic as the Romulan commander. And I know that there is some people in the chat. Some people consider the Romulan commander to be rather attractive. It looks like James Caserta is saying, I don't see it. I am with James Caserta on this one. I think she's a capable Romulan commander, but I've never found her, if I am to objectify a Romulan, never found her all that pretty.
Well,
different strokes to move the world in the neutral
Spock does, and that's what's important for this episode. Snortopoopas
blackmail and manipulation.
Snortopoopas says that Sulu says, I always knew Kirk was crazy. Now I can be captain.
It's time for Sulu to shine.
Don Racket says, that's sneaky Kirk. He went all Mission Impossible and faked being irrational, feigned his own death, and with Spock's help, and even disguised himself as a Romulan centurion.
True.
Oh, and Wes Cagle says, I always enjoyed this episode. It's a solid A.
Hey, Wes Cagle.
Oh, and Last Sun K says, honestly, the Galaxy class looked ridiculous for a starship. Although, it's more of an aircraft carrier type ship. But having families was a bit too much. Thankfully, they pulled back.
Once they got rid of Roddenberry.
And, well, we'll have another, we'll discuss TNG another day, because that's a whole thing, and there's a lot more to it than they just get rid of Roddenberry. Franco Walker thinks she's a babe.
There you go.
So you're going to have varying opinions. Franco Walker gives this episode an A+. And Brogu. Hello, Brogu.
Hey, Brogu.
See you guys. Joanne Linville was featured in Bus Stop in 61, 62, and the creepy tale entitled I Kissed Your Shadow. It seems that shell of a country that formerly was Imperial Germany may have finally started to turn things around. Looks like the deportation. And, says West Kegel. Yeah, Romulans. Thank you. Darius Munchausen says, my dad would say, she's a handsome woman.
Darius, hello, and I agree with that assessment. There's nothing, again, I'm not turned off by her, but when people say, what a fine-looking Romulan woman, I would agree with your dad and say, she's handsome. And apparently she's upset with me because my superfluous courtesies have no place here.
Yeah, well, no, I like her because she knew what she wanted when she went into the costuming with Bill Dice. She really liked the commander officer material, but the design arranged for the costume was made to appear really busty. And she said, this is not for me. Then I took the fabric off the model, and because it was in one piece, I pulled it over my shoulder, around my legs, pulled it up around my waist, tied it, and said, it should be this. And they made it like that.
Nice.
And Bill Thice agreed to do it that way because I knew the character more than he did. He was going to have her be very sexy. Well, no, wrong. What he got from me was a soldier. A soldier is lifted, chest direct, honest, 2 feet on the ground, the truth coming up from her feet and through her body. When she sits on that chair, she owns the chair, and it comes across. So,
and I agree.
Yeah. So she's great. First female commander captain in Star Trek. So that's really noteworthy.
Yeah.
And Kirk is lying to the commander that they're there because of an instrument failure. And I like that Spock doesn't give it up right away. He feigns that he's not going to tell the full truth. And this is where we learn that it is a myth that Vulcans do not lie.
It is no myth, which in itself is a lie.
Yes. Yes, I get it.
It is no myth.
I wonder if he can be ordered to lie.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad we had this talk.
Wes Cagle says she was, as most of the women on Star Trek were, very attractive. Yeah, and Stone Racket believes she's a fine-looking woman. I do too. I want to be deported back to Italy or Greece, says James Caserta. Oh. Well, I hope you get your wish.
Yeah. There has to be a way. Yeah, exactly. There has to be a way to do it without actually being deported.
Yeah. Or maybe you could buy some plane tickets.
Take a train.
A train across the ocean.
What? I don't know. We were talking about Germany. I thought we were all just talking about continental Europe.
Wes Cagle says Spock played his part in the deception perfectly. Yeah, he does.
Mm-hmm.
Spock doesn't give it up all the way. He's a romantic. You have to wait until Pon farr. Oh, we'll have words for that scene.
Yes. It's interesting that this is something that Commodore Stalker had done accidentally in the Deadly Years, and now it's being employed as a purposeful gambit. So that's cool. And then, in terms of the resilience of Kirk's intellect and resolve, Spock is like, you'll have difficulty with your interrogation methods.
Yeah, because he's kind of crazy right now. But
True.
Spock does it much better than I do.
He's kind of local.
I believe he has lost the capacity for rational decision. That's it.
And so when we do speak of Shatner's performance, I found this one to be maybe a little over the top, but then again, it is Kirk performing. This isn't an actual factual, but I had to chuckle to myself as I listened to the repeated chants of "I kill you, Spock."
This is an important distinction, Scotty, because this isn't necessarily William Shatner acting. This is
Agreed.
Kirk acting. So,
but it
he has to
reminded
make
me
it,
of
he has to make it believable in front of the commander.
yes, and seeing an unhinged Kirk is something brand new for everyone. But it just reminded me of Ren from Ren and Stimpy. I kill you.
well, I have 2 clips.
Oh, great!
We've been all through that, Commander.
We have not even begun.
And
I kill you. We don't get some like I can't wait for Turnabout Intruder when
well,
we get
that
some more
well,
peak
you can't
Shatner.
wait until we're done with Star Trek.
Yeah,
No, I
so
just like the one where Janet Lester takes him over.
Okay.
Just
I'm
the
not-
acting is great.
I don't know. We'll get there. I don't know.
I know.
I'm a little bit less excited.
I'm not
You
looking
don't
forward
hate
to the end. I'm just looking forward to the episode.
Gotcha. She does have a big personality, as James considered it. And actor acting like he's acting. How meta. Yeah,
Many levels.
exactly. Because Kirk is allowed to be a worse actor than Shatner. So Shatner overacting. Get out. I can't believe that. And of course, then, okay, I guess I see why you bring up Turnabout Intruder, because that is Kirk. That's William Shatner acting like a woman, pretending to be Captain Kirk.
I cannot wait because there's a beautiful quote, and I'll have to actually find the article, but there's a great quote from Shatner about that one.
Yes. Anyway, Spock tells the commander the truth. Captain went into the neutral zone on his own, making it easy for the commander to charge Kirk with espionage, and that's why Kirk is going crazy with wanting to kill Spock. She claims she's not going to punish the rest of the crew. All you guys got to do is go to Romulus. You're going to be processed, and we'll give you back to the Federation. Right. Sure. Scott responds by putting the Romulan officers in the brig, and that he will not be escorted or ordered by the Romulans at all. So then he says,
The Enterprise takes no orders except those of Captain Kirk.
except those of Captain Kirk's, if it got cut off.
Where is Captain Kirk?
So Scotty, I think he's really good in this episode. It's been a while since he's had something to do. I kill you. Wes Cagle says, "Oh God, Turnabout Intruder is possibly the worst episode of the entire series."
Alternative factors
You know
still right there.
Alternative factors doesn't.
Way of Eden, in my opinion.
I think there are worse episodes. Turnabout Intruder is not my favorite, but we'll see what I think about it when I actually analyze it closely. I don't really like it too much, but I don't really hate it that much either. I bring your attention to "And the Children Shall Lead." That's next week, Frank Walker. Mark your calendar.
Yes.
And hello to the Phantom Boomer Explorers. We are
Hello,
from the
Phantom
Romulan
Boomer.
government. We are here to help you.
The most frightening words in Romulus.
Kirk
Hey, Boomer.
can't believe we're talking about this 60 years later. 56. But you're right. Kirk, William Shatner would approximate, possibly. Or is it 57? It's 57 now.
Mm-hmm. I do like, and again, this with the updating of the special effects and pointing again to how they didn't fix everything just because they could. But obviously, you can see here with the Starfleet insignia on Spock's uniform, is reflecting the red that is in the set. And I thought it looked weird, and people could point it out and say, "Oh, it's the wrong color." But it's they didn't fix it. They could have, but they didn't. And I do like that it's not just a flat out special edition.
Well, and another thing too is it's pretty obvious that they just redressed the Enterprise set, the hallways and everything. You can tell it's the Enterprise. They just threw a few things here and there, changed the lighting a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's mostly a bottleneck episode.
I was going to ask you, pop culture curator, is the lighting better in this episode? I feel like it is.
It is. It is. They got back to the color gels again.
Yeah, I'm glad. I hope that's the case. It probably won't be the case for the rest of the season, huh? Like this one, is this just a standout episode, or are we just getting lucky, or will everything be lighted this way for the rest of the season?
Well, it's either that or because they were trying to. It's either that or because they were trying to make the Enterprise set look more alien. So it could be one of the two options.
Yeah, possibly. Let's see. Did I get one from that? Let's see. No. But Kirk does berate Spock after Scotty will only take Kirk's orders. Did you hear that, you coward? You betrayed everything of value you ever knew. Did you hear the sound of human integrity? Right.
He does it one more time.
He does it again. He does. And so, yes. So what happens here is that, oh, wait. Okay, so the commander is talking to Spock, trying to tell him, hey, you're a Vulcan and you're far superior. You should have a ship of your own. Why don't you have one? And Spock is playing into this and saying, well, I bet you want the Enterprise. And she's like, yeah, I do. And so their relationship begins there. And I think the dialogue between these two, they have some great chemistry, I believe. And it just gets better throughout the episode for me.
Yes. There seems to, and nearing the end of the episode, there does seem to be some regret in terms of the manipulation that Spock has employed.
I would say she takes it really well.
Yeah, she does. And she says it'll be our secret. And it's a thing. They're a thing. So, but then Kirk gets thrown in the brig and he gets hurt because he slams himself into the force field.
Yep.
which is the excuse to get McCoy on board, which works pretty great.
Well, and apparently, originally in this original script, it was going to be Kirk and McCoy that were going to go over dressed as Romulans, and they decided against it because it would be ridiculous for McCoy to perform plastic surgery upon himself. I don't see why Christine couldn't.
Yeah, Christine could help. I don't see why that's ridiculous.
But yeah,
maybe budget.
Well, and that's what with the budget for it was the costuming budget, and then also because of the logical inconsistency of having, like, you'd have to bring back like Mbenga or something. But again, Christine's right there.
That's a good idea. Mbenga would have been fun to see. I'd be down with that. And Christina could assist.
And I do want to point out, now that I brought up Christine, I want to say that we do have another all hands on deck episode. We've got the Big Seven with Christine and Eddie Paskey.
Yes, he's here. He even gives the captain a report at the end.
Yes, with no lines still. Poor Mr. Leslie.
Well, although he's there.
It was interesting in the when we were in the briefing room comparing the ship schematics of the Enterprise and the D7 cruiser. There were two crewmen behind our heroes. One of them had commander stripes on his sleeve, and the other one had a lieutenant commander stripe. And I was like, "Wow, that's those are some high-ranking security guys."
Yeah,
well, maybe they were Section 31. Or not.
Well, somebody has to be in charge of security on the Enterprise. Maybe they were just the main officers for it.
Who did Barry Russo play in Devil in the Dark? Was it Giotto?
Yeah, see, there was one.
Yeah.
There is one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of chat. I want to check it out.
For
and
sure.
Koopa says, there's a Romulan proverb. Liar, liar, pants on fire. And Spock can definitely deceive, says Brogu. And he does an incredible job here. He could deceive me any day.
Oh my.
She does have a big personality, says James. Don't listen to the captain. He's gone nuts. An actor acting like he's acting. How meta. Okay, so I did read that. Where was I exactly? I was here. Uhura is really looking good back there at her station. Yeah, that's why I stayed on her screen cap a little longer, because she does look really great. She doesn't get too many things to do, but she's not ignored as an officer of the bridge. And there are a lot of episodes where we don't get to hear from her at all, so it's good that she's around.
Well, and it's interesting that Scotty goes up to Uhura and is like, what's going on? And they're sort of having their own little powwow in the back. And it's like, surely Captain Kirk wouldn't have done this under his own. And that's when Kirk blows up at them. But I like how it's Scotty and Uhura.
Yeah, they're really great. And I do like when Scotty takes the bridge, because then we get to hear even more from her, because she's right there, right up there.
Mm-hmm. Well, and as you pointed out before, she almost acts like Scotty's first officer when it is him left in command.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when it is him left in command and Spock's not on the bridge, Chekhov is science officer.
Yes, which again adds more depth to the interactions between Spock and Chekhov, as we saw in Spectre the Gun.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say hello to Raymond Feliciano of King Dolphin TV.
Hello.
Hi. Listening and leaving a like. Thank you. Thank you, Raymond.
Hello
Everybody check out King Dolphin TV. Really, really great interviews and lots of fun stuff to be had, especially on Saturdays. But I think this week the fun stream is going to be on Sunday, just because. But usually it's on Saturday. Wes Cagle says it's not my favorite, but it's not terrible. I don't know why it gets as much love as it does. It's C+ or B-. Fair enough. I could tell you why it gets a lot of love.
Well, that was something that I was thinking about. Like, if this had been, obviously DC Fontana wrote it, and she has a great respect and love and admiration for not only the Vulcan people, but Spock as a character, and Leonard Nimoy's portrayal of him as such. But also because there was such an outpouring of support for Spock, as we've discussed in the behind the scenes situations where Shatner would get a little uppity about having to share time or not being perceived as the hero or lead of the show because Spock was getting so much attention. This is very much a response to that outpouring, and particularly how ladies love Spock. And so we do get to see that romance that we really haven't seen since This Side of Paradise.
Right. And but that time he was affected by spores. This time he's acting out of character on purpose in order to carry out a mission for the Federation. But he does, this is the first time we actually see him actually affected by this kind of emotion without any spores. Susan Eckstein says, have a great stream and a wonderful day, Jill and panel. You have a great day, Susan.
Enjoy, Suzanne.
Yeah, take care, Suzanne. Good to see you.
Oh, Suzanne, excuse me. Susan Dolan says, the Enterprise incident is one of the rare, good third season episodes, as reported in the making of Star Trek in the studio. They did everything they could to destroy Star Trek because some executives didn't like it. Oh, yeah. This season does get executive pushback quite a bit. And
Well, and it could be an example of the studio and the executives recoiling against a rabid, what they would perceive, not that I think so. I'm one of the rabid fans for the original series, but when people start saying save Star Trek, bring it back, and the executives or the studio have other plans for it, it's like, how dare our audience ask for things that they want?
Yeah, how dare we want our franchise to be what it should be.
Exactly. In 1968, maybe the executives and the internet existed would have called Star Trek fans a toxic fan base then.
Possibly.
Although they were very respectful in the letter writing campaign.
Oh, right. They would write back, right? No, they didn't write back. They would read. They read every single one.
Right. Because it was, as you mentioned, in terms of the campaign, is that it wasn't form letters, and it was all done so that they couldn't be dismissed easily. They all had to be read. But yeah, this is and pop culture. You do bring up how it is an obvious redress of the Enterprise corridors, but I do like even though I'm aware of it being the Enterprise, I think that they do a good enough job with the lighting and the way that they've covered up the gels. I really like the Romulan brig with the sliding, the sliding force field emitters. I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah, I wasn't knocking it.
Oh no,
I was just pointing it out.
Yeah. No, I didn't think you were pooping on it. Just yeah, it is a bottle episode. They obviously did some redressing, but I do, with the lighting, I think that it does accurately enough represent a different ship.
Now, I was curious, did they ever establish which of the 3 ships they're aboard right now?
I think it's one of the D7s, because they keep whenever they show, they cut the tall.
Yeah, because the bird of prey are always small and cramped. I'm thinking.
I agree. Especially since we only get the bird of prey because of the remaster, so they have to be on D7. Wes Cagle says, this is a good season 3 episode. It's beat out by maybe Day of the Dove, my favorite episode of the 3rd season.
Wow.
That one.
I'm interested to get to that one, Wes Cagle. That's great. I didn't know that was. But then again, how would I? But it's been so long since I've seen Day of the Dove. Can't wait. I do.
I have the whole
punch to your stupid head.
Oh, there's the Vulcan death grip.
There it is.
And I love this scene. The 365 book explains this perfectly. I could explain it too, but they do it pretty well. Also, the moment that McCoy figures out that this is the ruse, your instincts are still strong. Something like that.
The Vulcan death grip. Liar.
Your instincts are still good. The captain is dead. He's dead. Everybody. Oh no. Okay, here's what the 365 book says about this. Of course, McCoy says, that's the Vulcan death grip for you. And Chapel says, there's no such thing as a Vulcan death grip. But the Romulans don't know that. Despite what Spock and McCoy may say about one another, the two men have absolute faith in each other's intelligence and underlying motivations, which is perhaps the reason Spock knew that McCoy would understand his subterfuge in killing Kirk in front of the Romulan commander and her guards. Up to that point, McCoy had no knowledge of Kirk and Spock's orders to steal the cloaking device. Yet when Spock states, I was unprepared for his attack, I instinctively used the Vulcan death grip. McCoy has the presence of mind to respond in kind. Your instincts are still good, Mr. Spock. The captain is dead. The message has been delivered and received, allowing McCoy to carry on the shroud and spirit Kirk off the Romulan ship. It isn't until the next scene that the audiences catch up with McCoy realizing what the good doctor grasped a few minutes earlier that A, Spock is never unprepared, and B, he never blindly gives into instinct, particularly violent instinct. Of course, it probably didn't hurt McCoy, like Chapel, who also knew there is no such thing as a Vulcan death grip. And so I like that interpretation of the scene, that McCoy would know that Spock does not behave violently on instinct. And I think also I didn't read too much into it, but I think that Dorothy Fontana wanted to put more emotion in Chapel, and Spock. She was supposed to be angry at McCoy or somebody for Spock's death. I forget exactly what was in here, but she was supposed to be given something, and it was taken out. So that's unfortunate for her, because I really like her character, and I would have liked to have her be more, if that's what Dorothy wanted for her, because she does love Spock. So that would have been cool to see something. I've watched all the TOS episodes, says Susan Dolan, but I'm drawing a blank. What was Day of the Dove about? It was like a cloud alien taking over the ship and feeding off of negative emotions and all of the violence, and so it would cause fights on the ship, and then it would get more power, and so
And when they start laughing, and
yeah, right. It's okay. We'll get to it later. Let's not get too.
Well, it has great Michael and Sarah, so that's one of the highlights.
Right. I like that. I can't wait to talk about that one. That's fun. Okay, so Brogu says the doctor is looking at Spock. What have you done to Jim? The Vulcan death grip. Oopsie. The wispy alien that lives on hate and makes Klingons and Kirk's crew fight. Oh, you said that much better than I did, Stone Racket. Last Son of K said, the episode does stand out as one of the better season 3 episodes because of the writing and the creativity around the limited budget and executive pushback on the season's existence. You green-blooded bastard, you killed him. Ooh, is that what... I need to read what Chapel was supposed to get in this scene. Anyway. Of getting mad at Spock for being a murderer or something, I think is what it was supposed to be. James Caserta says, didn't McCoy know that there was no such thing? Yes, exactly. That's how he knew to play along. To play along with it and declare that Captain Kirk is dead. And even the Romulan doctors agreed, because all Kirk actually got was a neck pinch, that or some kind of pinch or whatever.
He didn't get a pinch at all. It was on the forehead. So
yeah, I know it was on the forehead. Maybe
unconscious.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe he got the neck pinch later, because that's the reasoning they give.
Well, and McCoy's the only one doing any of the scans, really. He could say he's dead completely. Just
right.
Well, no, but the script says that. Even Chapel says it, guys. Chapel says, let's see.
Oh, but he was dead.
The doctors certified he was dead. The doctors, meaning I was thinking the Romulan doctors.
Oh, that's true too, because didn't McCoy say you're lucky that they didn't do an autopsy, or they didn't press for an autopsy?
Exactly.
There we go. I did watch the episode.
Hooray.
I know. It's the only prerequisite.
That's all you got to do. Did you know that the lead Klingon was married to Genie in I Dream of Genie?
Yes, Michael and Sarah. We're talking about Day of the Dove.
Oh yes,
wow.
I got that. Mm-hmm. Yes, people are... well, we're talking in general, good season 3 episodes, so...
Right.
Which he was...
It's
he
a
was
good
on,
topic.
And he was on Lost in Space just a few weeks ago on an episode that we covered.
Yes, and also thank you to Matt G, Taylor Swift greater than Disney Star Wars, who's given me $1. Thank you.
See, that's so funny. Michael Ansara was in Batman the Animated Series. He was in Lost in Space. He was in Star Trek, and he was in Genie.
Yep.
Like, not the show.
Yeah, he was in the show. He played the Blue Djinn.
Oh, but then he was actually in Barbara Eden.
Oh,
yeah. But this is for Matt G, who
Yes.
sent in a super chat.
You are great. I am great.
Hey.
And there you go. And so at this point,
Well, Jill, didn't you
out.
recently
Yes.
watch Flashback, the Voyager episode Flashback, where Michael
I
Ansara
did.
returns as well?
Right. Yes, with Sulu and Excelsior and everything. I did watch that recently. It was all right.
Yeah,
It's no trials and tribulations anyway.
agreed.
So Captain Kirk's gonna go under surgery.
Well, and before we get to the surgery, how do you feel about Starfleet and the Federation engaging in these clandestine missions?
I'm okay with it because at this point, then they have a good reason. Because if they stated it earlier in the episode, if the Romulans we're not able to figure out the secret of their technology, they'll be able to overtake the Federation in any kind of conflict. And this is absolutely life and death situation here. And so the Federation might say, we don't normally want to do this kind of thing, but we kind of have to in this case, because otherwise we're going to be taken over. And it's not going to be, that's not a good thing. So there's a certain thing where things that you don't normally want to do, you have to do it because of defense, or else you'll end up, no longer a federation.
Well, and I'm just curious. Like I find it interesting, and I like it as a sort of reference to the Pueblo, as well as just the realistic operations of a quasi-military power in the Alpha Quadrant. I enjoy this. I enjoy the espionage and the subterfuge. But for people who there are, and again, I'm not sort of, I think that there is a limit. At least this is, I don't know, like there is a limit to what clandestine and off the books operations can be done by Starfleet. And sometimes with the embrace of Section 31, which is folly, aside from the Dominion War, like incorporating it into Enterprise, I didn't like. I'm curious as to at what lengths you will forgive the not necessarily on the up and up attitude and operations.
Well, it's just a matter of following by Starfleet principles, and if you do that, then you're going to be okay, more or less.
And I'm assuming that this is this incident would probably be something that led to the Treaty of Algeron.
Oh, do you think so?
Which would have had, well, now that Starfleet, that's the Pegasus, when Admiral Pressman was developing the phasing cloak, but the Treaty of Algeron was the agreement between the Romulans and the Federation that the Federation wouldn't develop cloaking technology. And it would be through this episode that they actually attain the cloaking device itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, but but that comes much later, so that doesn't give us any reason why they don't have cloaking now, except for that Gene Roddenberry said no.
Well, but that's the thing that I'm sort of balancing with Section 31, is that there is a principle to Starfleet that it doesn't feel the need to do those clandestine things. It's not going to go sneaking around Federation space and decloaking. It always presents itself in a positive light on the up and up. They have no reason to hide themselves, going so far as to even agreeing with other spacefaring empires and powers saying, all right, well, then we will not employ this. You guys can do whatever you're going to do, but we will not do this as a sign of good faith kind of thing. And the
I don't know.
Romulans take advantage of that.
I see cloaking as a defensive and offensive tool. That doesn't necessarily have to mean that that they're going to become clandestine or whatever. It's just a thing that is useful to be able to get through some kind of military situation.
Well, and even then, when the Dominion does pose a threat in Deep Space Nine, one of the agreements between the Romulans and the Federation is that they're not going to use the cloaking device in the Alpha Quadrant. They'll only use it when in the Gamma Quadrant until Tom Riker shows up.
Until it happens anyway.
Until it happens anyway, yeah.
That's not right. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with using cloaks. I don't know. That's the one thing I won't agree with Gene on. Franco Walker says, "Oh, Scotty."
I know. I had to bring up a sex joke. Sorry, guys.
Oh, you did? I missed it.
Never mind. I won't recap.
Eden.
Heading into Eden. Yay, brother. Sorry. That was
Stone Rackets says, "You didn't know that Michael Ansara was married to Barbara Eden? What kind of trekker are you? And you have the gall to say that The Day of the Dove is your favorite season 3 Star Trek." Oh God, Stone Racket is getting catty.
Oh man. You don't have to pour over People magazine to find out the marital statuses of different actors and actresses. Hey, Jim.
Hi, Jim. Great to see you. Trek always introduced me to a new word. Subterfuge.
And that's how I learned about the origin of the word sabotage. Was from Star Trek 6. I really enjoyed that too.
Yes, the pronunciations are nice also.
Meow. That, Miss Lincoln, is my cat. And also, just while we have this this screen grab on here, because one of the best teaser trailers for any movie ever is the teaser for Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. And it shows clips of the original series and the movies talking about, and it's narrated by Christopher Plummer. And it's like the 1/4 of a century. And it talks about the adventures of the Enterprise. They have been our guides, our protectors, and our friends.
Oh,
And
I got in trouble for that video.
No, I know. I'm sorry. You don't have to show it again. But like they do, and this is one of the clips, and it's Scotty admiring Kirk in his Romulan garb.
It's a great video. I don't know why Paramount doesn't want people seeing it.
Because they just don't like advertising for their own.
They don't like advertising for themselves for their good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you look like the devil himself, but as long as you're
alive. The whole thing. I didn't clip them myself. I got them from the Clip website, so they're not complete. So I like when Kirk says that the report of his death is premature, because I immediately got the allusion to Mark Twain, because I had to read all those books in high school.
The reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Yes.
Which is also a phrase that it turns up again in First Contact.
And also in a TNG episode, Samaritan Snare.
Ooh. It is fast. It makes us go.
Oh, okay. And Cassie Yates says it in Deep Space Nine. I don't remember that. That happened? Oh, anyway. The commander thinks she's getting somewhere by making some Vulcan meals.
Mm-hmm. No Plomik soup, though.
Which one of these drinks are Romulan ale?
The blue one.
That one.
Blue one? I know she gives them. Well, that's right. It's ale and then tang.
It's tang.
Tranya.
I was thinking it was Tranya. And it is like, this is some mighty fine aside, like Spock or Leonard Nimoy, obviously he does eat, but there it is obvious that with the beverages. It's just being touched to the lips, and then they're acting as if they're swallowing it. Apparently, Tranya tasted terrible, so I can expect nothing less for these.
Probably.
We have other inducements.
And what?
We have other inducements.
Inducements? I'm going to have to look up the definition of the word inducements.
Well,
Ooh.
influence.
Something that helps bring about an action or a desired result. An incentive. Bow.
Well, that too, yes. So they drink something blue, they drink something orange. So she promises him power and a ship with the Romulan Empire, and reminds him that Romulan women are not dedicated to pure logic. And
Well,
so, yeah, she wants him to take some Romulans, go on the Enterprise, and take the ship to Romulus. And he's like, sure, but let's spend a little time here for a little bit. And so she doesn't have a problem with that.
Well, her temperature rises.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love these Romulan uniforms.
Oh yeah, me too. Spidey says Mark Twain was a freaking legend. He often wrote about the importance of freedom. Oh yeah, definitely. Sorry, and Brandy, says James Caserta. I remember watching the trailer for Star Trek VI, seeing the Kirk doppelganger being disintegrated by a phaser, and thinking we didn't know it was a doppelganger.
True. I remember that as well.
Inducements. We want inducements. J.T. Kirk says, parents, don't let your kids get hooked on inducements.
Don't do it. Check the candy.
Wait for that dress. And Spidey says, inducements, like sticking a popsicle down your throat after you ate something you shouldn't have. Wait, what?
I suppose that would induce something, yes. You took too much. You took too much.
I was not aware of that aspect of Romulan society.
Spidey.
Oh, man. Spock being a pimp.
He is. He does a really great job. And the ramen commander is eating it all.
What is happening between us?
Oh, we're not there yet.
Host.
Almost.
The Romulan equivalent of maybe I should slip into something a little more comfortable.
Mm-hmm. John Racket. Oh, so what's the orange one? It's been shown before. Scotty mixed it with one of the Bones' antidotes to something. Oh, I don't know. We're just saying it's Tranya because it looks like it. Yeah, it's getting spicy. This is getting spicy. Yeah, it's even spicier if you watch the episode because Spock is really good at delivering these lines. It's really, really sexy. So
Yeah.
really good.
There's a fine line between stoic and seductive.
And no, it's good. It's really good because DC Fontana fixed the lines to make it sound like the way a Vulcan would seduce somebody. Just saying things matter factually, but
dripping with innuendo.
Yes. He's giving her what she's expecting, what she wants. And then the snoo. Yeah, I played that one a little early. The soldier will transform herself because he says that her name is incongruous.
Now, never spoken on camera, though. All of the Romulan commanders' first names or names are apocrypha.
Well, it's the same with Spock. He says when that episode where she asked about his first name, he said you couldn't pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's true. Oh, right. That's this side of paradise too. And Sub Commander Tall is onto Spock, picking up his transmission to the Enterprise. Or wait, not to the Enterprise, to Captain Kirk, who's already beamed aboard the Romulan vessel because he couldn't wait. He was just so impatient. Just don't beam me into a bulkhead. It'll be fine. Wait, where am I? I don't know where I am anymore.
Earth.
Okay, so hail Q. Sorry for the delay. I'm at M. Oh, okay.
At work mulching leaves. No worry, Jim.
Of course. She would only get it once every 7 years. Well, Scotty and I have theories about that.
This is true. And I think that there would have, by the nature of, like she does say, I've never been so moved by just the touch of an alien hand. And because of the tactile nature of Vulcans and how they would be very much in mind melds are done with their hands, the neck pinch is done with their hands, that there would be some sort of connection when doing the sort of hand holding, stroking situation.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was established in Journey to Babel that the kiss is done with the little fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Little fingers. And so that also influenced this.
And there we go.
Because, Fred and Arthur were hell-bent on getting these two to get it on. So the people who actually know Star Trek fixed it to make it look right. Instead of looking human, it definitely looks alien.
I wonder if he does anything like this with Zarabeth, our yesterdays. I forget.
Well, we'll see.
We will.
I don't remember myself. There's a lot of season 3 I do not recall, to my utter despair, but I will remember them soon. Here's what the 365 book says about this. By the start of the 3rd season, regular viewers of Star Trek came to expect seduction scenes between Kirk and the lovely lady of the week. But by the same token, they did not expect such scenes with Spock. Yes, the Vulcan had shown romantic emotion with Layla Kolomi on this side of paradise after she drugged him. Near the end of the final season, he would also experience passion and feelings towards Zarabeth, all our yesterdays, but only because he had been transported 5,000 years into the past, where his ancestors were still uncivilized, warlike barbarians. So it came as quite a surprise when the obviously interested female Romulan commander slipped into something more comfortable, and the typically imperturbable Vulcan slipped into serious seduction mode. Or did he? Writer DC Fontana has stated that the romantic tete-a-tete in the Enterprise incident was modified after she turned in her draft of the script, and that while she liked the episode, she felt that it was out of character for Spock to pretend to be romantic. While Fontana is correct, it doesn't seem ethically appropriate for the upright Mr. Spock. It's interesting to consider that the commander actually may have gotten under Spock's skin. She is certainly worthy of his respect. She commands a large starship, something Spock admits to her that he hasn't yet achieved. While fans may object that male Vulcans can respond romantically to females only during Panfar, even Fontana admits that this is too literal an interpretation of the facts established in Amok time. It is true that Panfar is a time for reproduction, but that doesn't discount a Vulcan male's ability to indulge in sexual interplay when such an opportunity seems logical. And so, right, as I've been saying, he was supposed to kiss her, but Nimoy and Linville were like, no. You need something different from the human love expression. And so actually Nimoy wrote a big long letter complaining to Gene Roddenberry about this. In Star Trek Lives, Dorothy Fontana tells how she attempted to warn Roddenberry about fan reactions if Spock were to behave out of character. She insisted that Nimoy was right and that the pair's interactions should suggest an alien sexuality, but not human passion, even with Nimoy and Linville's restrained gestural contact. Fontana was flooded with letters from fans, aware of the Pon farr and believing it meant Vulcans had sex only once in 7 years, Theodore Sturgeon's original idea. They complained that the scene was out of character. Years later, Fontana wrote sex scenes into Vulcan's glory, establishing that the Pon farr is only a fertility cycle and that Vulcans can have sex anytime.
Yeah.
Of course, even though it's written by DC Fontana, I don't know how much canon it is because it's a novel, but it does carry more weight because it is from her.
She is the mother of the Vulcan people.
She is.
Obviously, Leonard is the daddy.
Oh, hey, hello to John Rupus.
Johnny Rupus.
What's up?
Hey, Guts.
Mulch leaves before they mulch you.
Oh, if you turn your back on a pile of leaves, you don't know what's going to happen. Oh, and then we get a judo chop over there.
There should be a B movie about leaves consuming people.
Exactly. Agreed.
Susan Dolan says it's not strange that Scotty would go to Uhura to speak, as she is fourth in the chain of command on the bridge, being lieutenant and chief communications officer.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Susan Dolan's read the Bible. The Star Trek Writer's Guide.
That's right. I was going to say, which book of is this Leviticus? No.
Oh, okay. So Sub-Commander Tall is tattletaling on Spock here.
Well, and I like how Spock just jumps to the logical conclusion of what's going to happen here in terms of searching him and finding out what's going on. He just walks in and says, "Yep, here's my communicator."
Yeah, you got me.
Yep.
See, and this is where I was thinking that if she had not, well, I know we haven't got to that scene yet, but if she had not went to the Enterprise with Spock, she would have been up with the death penalty because what she did, she basically betrayed the Romulans because she fell for all of Spock's tactics, and that's not becoming of an officer.
And that's something that Dorothy Fontana says about this episode is that a Romulan would not have fallen for this as easily as she does.
Right, that's why the whole mission failed, was because of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Dorothy's on your side on that one. Susan Dolan says it's not strange that Scotty would go to her. Oh, okay, I read that one. I nearly put Bullock, so my correction was an improvement. And Brogu says you look so beautiful in that dress.
It is a nice dress, and she does, she cuts a figure in it.
Well, this is where Sub-Commander Tall should be saying, "Why are you dressed like that? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good question. I was expecting that. Hello, Tony from Stark of Iron. Sending an ahoy. Much love. Gotta work. Oh, well, thanks for running in. Stopping by.
Cheers, Tony.
Have a great day at work. What was it, 2:00 already? When did that happen? Okay.
The March of Time.
Keeps going. Don't want it to. John Rupus says it was cool to see how Vulcans were like Romulans, and they're from the same tree line. Yeah, this is the episode that really solidifies that because we only get a hint of it in Balance of Terror, where Spock says something like, "It's most likely that we're from that we have the same heritage."
And it would make more sense for the Romulans to have a firmer knowledge of that shared lineage, seeing as that they were the ones who left, and they would establish their own independence based on that breaking off.
Yeah. And then there's always going to be crossing influences, even though they've been away from each other for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Stone Racket says Ahura is a lieutenant commander and is indeed fourth in command. Sulu is just a lieutenant, so we should have seen Ahura in that captain's chair more often. Yeah, right. Anytime Sulu's in the chair, it should actually be Ahura. But Sulu's fine. If anybody's gonna be there, Sulu's okay. Susan Dolan says, correct. Unfortunately, we had to wait until the animated series before we saw her in the captain's chair. Yes, she had to save the boys from the ladies on the planet. And the Lorelei signal.
Yes. The Hobbies.
The harpies, yeah. Or sirens.
Sirens, my mistake.
Close enough. James Caserta says she has political dirt on him and leverage. Well, folks, leaving a like. I'll try to make it to your inaugural member show tomorrow. Oh, that would be great. I hope to see you there, Tony. I don't know what we're doing, but we're going to do it. It's going to be fun. Tomorrow at noon. That's right, I forgot. Tomorrow at noon, I'm going to have a membership stream. Ooh.
That'll be fun.
It will be. Gorilla says it's required every 7 years to get some. Still, one hill of a dry spell. If she's pissed with you. Still one hell of a dry spell.
Yeah, hell of a.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that anniversary.
Possibly in the chat, Susan Dolan. I won't have the ability to go back in the panel until late December. Oh, on PCB. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, PCB's tomorrow also. After my membership stream, but much later, like at 7 p.m. Central.
What's PCB?
Is Pop Culture Breakdown on
Okay.
Overlord DVD Doomcast channel. Kapla to Bird of Prey 5. I really like that show because it has movies we love at the very end, and that's my favorite segment. And tomorrow they're going to go over Back to the Future because I think it's some kind of anniversary.
November 5th was when Doc Brown invented time travel.
Yeah. So there you go. And
Kapla Bird of Prey.
Yeah, Kapla to Bird of Prey 5. Hello. The best TOS episode? Maybe. Oh, wow. I'd love to hear that. I wish TNG hadn't changed the Romulan makeup and costumes. The TNG Romulans look like they had shopped for clothes at Bed Bath & Beyond bedding department.
I like the Romulan redesign. And I do also enjoy how there are regional Romulans, some with the brow ridges, some with not, based on where they were on the planet. So there are certain things that I do enjoy about that particular reinterpretation or upgrade or reimagining.
I'm more in line with the people who make Michelin Man jokes.
You like you find the puffy shoulder pads to be a bit obnoxious?
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't look cool to me. It's just like, here, wear this square.
Yeah.
Brogu says, absolutely. Ahura should have been in the captain's chair more often. Of course. I'm always going to agree with that kind of line of conversation happening. Last Son of K says, Bird definitely one of the best of the third season and maybe of the series. Oh, wow. I don't go that far, but I'm really excited that you love this episode. TNG made both Vulcans and Romulans look like Neanderthals, except for Spock.
Oh, they kept the Vulcans. Vulcans were relatively unchanged.
Yeah, maybe, right. Vulcans didn't have to have any head stuff.
Right. The only thing that they did is that they did sort of, it depends on which series though, but they did go a little bit more copper on the makeup. It wasn't as subtle as with Nimoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Captain Infinity says, Scotting for hotness now, Captain.
Still scanning. No, that's mean. I'm sorry.
I won't be at home during the member stream tomorrow. Sorry, I'm going to miss it. But best of luck with your inaugural installment. Thank you so much.
Well, and that
Yeah.
rerun for the member stream, that'll be available after the fact to members only, correct? Or is that going to become a public
No, that's
video
right.
afterward?
No, that's right. It'll be available for members only after
Mhm.
it'll be published. Yes, so
On the rerun.
it'll be live, and so you'll be able to watch it on the replay. Of course, being there live is more fun, but I do appreciate everyone who watches things on the replay, especially people right now watching this on the replay in the future.
Cheers.
Yes. Hello and welcome to all the people who are watching it later.
Well, that gentleman is not a very good security guard, I have to say.
Well, yeah, I didn't ask you to do a recap of that fight because that was really fast. It was just a kick to the face.
Yeah.
And here we get to see a reused Nomad prop.
And Sargon.
That's obviously the engineering from the Enterprise redressed and made to look smaller.
Oh, very cool. And so Kirk grabs it and leaves.
I do enjoy how the Romulan cloaking device is modular. It just plugs into something.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Right. Well, it's not compatible with the Enterprise, but Scotty is Scotty, so he figures it out.
Yes.
He's a miracle worker.
This is hilarious because, as you will have remembered in the previous scene, the cloaking device is a giant globe with a hood ornament in the center of the room. Obviously, the centerpiece. This might as well just be called the cloaking device room. It is the largest thing, most obvious thing in the room. And Sub-Commander Tal runs in, checks the guard, then goes to the panel, looks at the panel and says, "Commander, the cloaking device is gone." It's like we as soon as we walked in, if we knew what that component was, we knew it was missing. Thank you, Sub-Commander. That is brilliant deduction. It's like getting into a car and being like, "Oh my God, I've checked the radio and the air conditioning, but it seems that there's no steering wheel." It's ridiculous, and I still love it.
Yeah. Yes, I love it too. So anyway, I would have to thank Darius Munchausen for becoming a member. Thank you so much. That's incredible. Let's see what we did here.
Very cool.
Series Superstar. Let's see. What video should I play for Darius? What do you think? You pick one, Scotty.
Oh, I thought it was all right. Where am I here? Let me.
Some goddamn weird ass place we work in. Let me tell you.
I love that one.
There you go. There's some Lamar for you.
That's one of the great from season 3. Thank you, Darius. And Snortapoopus says, Scotty, I think I can hook the cloaking device into the waste recycling system. Wait a minute.
I have a USB-C to Lightning connection, and if we just plug it into our Apple products, it'll work.
No one saw it had gone when they entered.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Building tension.
Thank you so much, Wes Cagle, for the $2 super sticker of the little Bushiba with the little hearts. So cute. They noticed it, of course, says James Caserta. And this is for Wes Cagle, but also for Pop Culture Curator.
I would never live in the 24th century. I fucking hate the next generation. Only the original series, only classic.
Yeah.
Speaking of clips that make me laugh. Oh my goodness. Okay. And also, thank you to Stone Racket. $20. A $20 super chat.
Wow, nice.
You'll need more space credits for your inaugural membership stream tomorrow. So here you are, Jill.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very cool.
Is there going to be punch and pie? You have to get
Well,
a punch and pie. I was told there'd be punch and pie.
The punch and pie has just been funded.
Excellent.
So for that one.
Listen, you bunch of tarts. It's clobbering time.
Give you a little red drawer for that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Stone Racket like Red Dwarf? I don't even know. But let's oh yeah. How could you do this? Because I'm the first officer of the Enterprise. I love that. So if Jill plays a clip that swears, do I still buy a lottery ticket?
I don't think it counts.
Oh right, I forget that Rob is swearing there. Yeah, he does. That's what makes it funny. Because they're breaking up. It's a big up scene. Snortapoopa says, "Hey guys, the big glowing spear thingy is gone."
There's an article. This Cuber says security. Hey guys, the big glowing sphere thingy is gone. Tall says, "Don't worry about it. That was the projector for the home entertainment system. The cloaking device is in this little green cube." I was just thinking maybe it was a Bluetooth speaker. That's great.
Oh, can you hear me, Scotty?
Now I can. Yep.
Oh, great. Also, I have clip. Where am I?
What are you that you could do this?
First officer.
Enterprise. Sometimes I have to finish the quote for the clip.
He's a cold-hearted man. Look into his eyes. Uh-oh, he's been telling lies. There we go.
Yeah.
We missed the slap, but there we slap.
He gets the slap, yes. What is your present form of execution? Okay, before we get into that, I wanted to talk about the 365 book mentions the cloaking device a little more. Gene Roddenberry often stated that he disapproved of the Enterprise crew sneaking around on espionage or spying missions.
See?
But that is exactly the type of mission Kirk and Spock undertake in the Enterprise incident. An episode that seems based, at least in part, on the 1968 capture of the USS Pueblo in North Korean waters. Fans rate the episode among the best of the season, although they too seem a bit squeamish about Kirk and Spock's actions. At one point, Uhura tells Scotty that there was no order from Starfleet authorizing the Enterprise's crossing into the Romulan neutral zone. But later, McCoy tells Nurse Chapel Jim and Spock were operating under Federation orders. So just who was it who sent them on this quest of theft and deception? Decades later, the Star Trek Deep Space Nine tackled similar subject matter, revealing that within Starfleet intelligence there is a covert black ops unit known as Section 31. Think CIA, but with fewer constraints from the head of state. Section 31, which has been around as long as Starfleet thinks Ira Stephen Bear, is responsible for identifying and dealing with perceived threats to the Federation in whatever way its operatives deem necessary. Stealing a piece of potentially dangerous technology from a perceived enemy might be just right up this unit's alley. In fact, just to take it full circle, although it isn't canon, Section 31, Cloak, a licensed Star Trek spin-off novel, established that J.T. Kirk had received orders from that very agency.
Which means that it wouldn't have been sanctioned by the Romulan commander brings up the Federation Council, and I think it's one of the first times that the Federation Council is identified by name. Maybe not, maybe Journey to Babel, but it's so. Section 31 is not a part of Starfleet intelligence. It isn't an
No.
autonomous organization that acts without supervision. So it has absolutely
Mhm.
nothing to do with the Federation or Starfleet for that matter.
Agreed. They say they do, but they don't.
Well, it's in the charter. It's in the Federation charter.
Mhm. Yeah, that they can run off and go do something. But that they say that though. Who's
Yes.
to really say? The only kind of support that they actually get is that the Federation doesn't hunt them down and stop them.
They turn a blind eye. That is accurate. Yeah.
JT Kirk says, I don't have any punch and pie, but I do have some chili if you'd like some, Scotty.
Ooh.
Chili
All right.
is good.
I'm in.
Jill streams have the most chill, says Captain Finity. Thank you.
Ooh, there you go.
Oh.
There's your member streams. Chill with Jill.
Raymond says, I need a cigarette.
That was so hot. I need a cigarette.
Novels aren't canon? Come on. Yeah, no, it's true. There's so many novels. If they were canon, there would be so many cross section. It'd be insane. Now, if there was a secret NK, I mean, I guess they're their own canon. Like somebody writes a novel, then they're creating their own. Like it's beta canon. It's beta canon.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even then, that beta canon came to a close just recently in terms of trying to accommodate all of the new stuff. So everything that was, oh, Dalek is here.
Hi, Dalek.
We can't say
How are
we
you
missed
doing?
you, buddy. No, I'm joking.
And he says that Red Dwarf episode is fantastic. Also, hello all. Hello.
Ahoy.
So can you read the captain's log from the private chat, please?
Absolutely. Captain's log, stardate 5027.4. Commander Scott has less than 15 minutes to install the Romulus cloaking device and get it working. I hope Mr. Spock can buy us the time we need.
Yep. And there you go. There's Scotty doing just that.
Just tinkering, making things work, measuring things.
Yep. And Scotty's he's connecting the cloaking device somehow. And somehow we also beam Spock back. We haven't done that yet though. Not yet. Oh yeah, not yet.
No,
He's
when
still aboard the ship.
Yeah, Spock is stalling for time with the right of statement.
Right, he asks for 20 minutes for the right of statement. I guess you get your last words if you're Romulan, and you get at least 20 minutes.
Well, first he wants
the right of statement first.
Sorry, pop culture. Please go ahead.
No problem. First he wanted an extra hour, and now he wants the time for the statement. He still hasn't gotten a clue that he's stalling.
Rose-colored glasses or green-colored glasses. She's enamored
Well,
with Mr. Spock.
She is, but at this point, she knows, like for a fact, that he's not on her side anymore.
She's still in the afterglow of the hand touches.
That's understandable, but
He's
it's
attractive.
not befitting a Romulan commander.
Apparently. That's why Sub Commander Tal is so upset.
Yeah. He's guilty. He's guilty of it. He's like, yep, I'm guilty. But I was carrying out my duty. Everyone carries out their duty.
I like that makeshift prop.
Which one?
The one that he reads his statement into. I mean, it's got a few props from different episodes all combined into one.
Mm-hmm. Is that phantom console that was hanging off the side of the transporter console?
I believe so. Plus, it also has the lamp from Sulu's console.
Yes.
Oh.
Or
Oh, and
like the Cobra screen that was
Really?
on Pike's
Yes,
armrest.
which is a lamp. Which is fine.
Oh,
Well,
that's
that's
cool
like
to know what these are
well,
things
at the
made
cloaking
out of.
device, that's part nomad and part of those globes where the beings were they had exchanged personalities with Kirk, Spock, and Dynamo Door. I can't remember the name of the episode off the top of my head, but where they had the orbs and
The Devil
and
in the
Spock.
Dark? Oh,
No.
you mean Return to Tomorrow?
Yes. See that episode, that's the cloaking device. It's obviously different. I don't, and I'm not knocking it. I think it's quaint and I like it. It reminds me of Lost in Space where they reuse props and it's totally fine. It's acceptable.
I like it, and I think it's really cool when you get to point them out. When you can tell me what amalgamation of different props were smashed together to make something new. And so Spock is beamed back aboard the Enterprise. I don't know really the mechanics of how that happened, but he's back on board.
Oh no, because it was Chekhov's responsibility to try and pinpoint Spock's
Yeah,
Vulcan
that's right.
physiology,
Yes.
and so
Okay,
there
I
is a
forgot about that
moment
part.
where Chekhov says, Vulcans and Romulans, they're kind of the same, and got him.
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But for no reason at all, she just grabs onto Spock and is also beamed aboard. That's the weirdest thing that I think she does the entire time.
But that's not the only word. She does several things that are illogical, but it's okay. It works with the plot.
Yeah.
I think supposedly it was her emotions.
Mm-hmm. So the reason I mentioned the beaming and things is because there's something in the Cushman book. It says more damning were the things that were taken out. Fontana included a couple of sections of dialogue where Kirk and his people express concerns over Romulan's alliance with Klingons, and also in her script, explanations as to how Kirk can be beamed onto the Romulan ship, then off, and Spock can be beamed off during a battle station situation. In Fontana's version, Spock is not only instated as new captain of the Enterprise after Kirk's alleged death, but he returns to his ship and orders Scotty to stand down and cancel the call to battle stations. With the weapon systems deactivated, there's no reason for the Romulan ships to expend power and keep their shields raised. The enemy commander is even preparing to send the Romulans captured Enterprise for their trip back to her Empire's planet. And this lowering of the shields allows Kirk and McCoy to beam back to the Romulan flagship, and Spock later to be beamed off. Freiberger and Singer were the ones who had dropped these important moments from the script, creating story holes.
That's what I have been wondering too. When they knew obviously, very early on that somebody was after the cloaking device. All they had to do was order the shields up on the ship, and they knew nobody would be able to beam up. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And so they completely skip over very important ideas of being able to beam people on and off your ship. If you can beam people on and off a ship through shields, things don't make sense, because you can do that during battle, then things are really messed up. And so they don't really the episode doesn't make that clear that
Yeah.
stood down the orders.
Right, you think that would have been standard procedure to have the shields up to protect that cloaking device.
But since Fred Freiberger and Arthur Singer don't know Star Trek, they're like, what's this? You don't need this.
Right.
And also the Cushman book says the commander's worst lapse in judgment is when she throws her arm around Spock. Why does she do this? Her action only results in being transported to the Enterprise and giving her enemy a valuable prisoner. The script's primary writer, Dorothy Fontana, cannot be faulted because the Romulan commander was described as male and behaved much more sensibly in the story outline and first draft script. Fontana was asked to change the commander to female and add a flirtation with Spock. The actual lovemaking, however, came from someone else's typewriter, which of course is Arthur Singer. And then DC Fontana fixed it. And there you go. We're almost to the end here. which
There's
is
something I
good
want to
because I'm
mention
running
that
out
I've
of
been.
time.
There's something I'd like to mention really quick. I've been meaning to mention it since last year. Can you go back to the last frame where it shows the view screen?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know if you remember when I covered last year when I was reading from this book I have on Star Trek about when I was talking about the lights when they installed them in the bridge and they had to run air conditioning under the panels and everything to keep everything cool. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
But I wanted to mention that view screen, the light under it, the one that stands across the bottom of the view screen. You guys see what I'm talking about, right? The one that the lights are currently right under the center of the view screen.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody wonders how those were done, it was a man with a stick with a nail on it. And all he did was run it across the panel. It wasn't like an actual automated light system. It was actually a man back there with a stick.
Oh, wow.
And he ran it across the contacts.
What a job.
Right, that's pretty cool. I definitely couldn't tell that.
Right. Well, no, I'd never thought about it either, but right. Because so basically it was like, the lights had a positive contact on him and he had a stick with a nail, which was negative. And then when he runs it across the contacts, you get the light under the screen. Now it would be a circuit board that would control all that, but no, it was a man with a stick. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's super interesting. Just in terms of the
I'm sorry, I was
ways.
talking. I'm sorry. But yes, go ahead.
Oh no, I was merely covering up the silence. But yeah, how you would expect something like that to be automated, but it is just as simple as make the connections happen, make the light work.
Yeah,
if you don't have to automate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would expect, being from this time, that it's just like a programmed LED light system. Obviously, LEDs aren't around at this moment.
Nope. Right, which is why they had
Like
heat,
that.
why they had to air condition everything. Yep.
And so that is pretty cool that someone back there is making the magic of the future happen manually.
Now, remember, they didn't have to do that for every episode because, this is a stock shot, as we all know. So they only had to do it a few times, and then they just rehashed using the same shot over and over and over and over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that makes sense because you don't know what those lights are doing anyway. Helmsman blink speed. Okay, so he's about to fire on the Enterprise as ordered to do so by his own commander, which is one good thing she does. She's like, okay, destroy this shit.
Yeah. Well, and I would like to, I kind of want to revisit the old effects just to see how the Enterprise breaking away from the trio of ships, how that looks in the original special effects, because it looks just badass in the remaster. You get a sense of the distance between the ships and how quickly the Enterprise pulls out of there, because they do jump to warp 9. It is pretty cool. And so there we go. Scotty trying to figure it out. And when he does press the button, you get the not the first time cloaked. Like in the original, I do recall this specifically, and it was the same thing in Balance of Terror, is that it just sort of fades out. But in this, there is a little bit more of that cloaking special effect that was present in future Star Trek productions, but not overdone to make it look like it was 23rd century or anything like that.
And it looked to me like it cloaked from forward to back.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just the whole ship dissolving, it looked like it dissolved from the front part of the ship towards the rear. But I could be wrong. That's what I thought I saw. That's in the remastered. I'm talking about the remastered effects.
Oh, the remaster effect, the remaster cloaking effects looks different than.
Yes.
Okay. But it is the first time we see the Enterprise cloak, though.
Yeah, I truly think that she's lucky that she's with them, because if she goes back, it'll be the death penalty.
Right. Maybe she asked for some kind of asylum once she actually thinks things through a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I might be missing a few chats, but for some reason, Captain Infinity is now craving pumpkin pie. Oh no, wait, that's because there will be pumpkin pie at the membership live stream door. Actually, I cannot promise pie or punch, but
wait there. There is too much pepper on my poppycock, but I would be proud to partake of your pecan pie.
Okay, so Bill's novelizations were not that good, says Snortopoopas. Alan Dean Foster did some pretty good ones for the animated series. Diane Duane did some good ones featuring the Romulans.
Oh, I forget the name of the guy. There's a guy who did some really good ones that I enjoyed when he wrote Imzadi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Peter David. And yeah, but they were pumping those out just like pulp novels, the kind of novels that you would be okay with leaving on a bus. But yeah, there are tons of them. Some of them are great. Some of them aren't.
I think I accidentally left a Stitch in Time on a bus or somewhere. I forget
No!
where I left it. I'm so upset. I need to rebuy that and read it. And
that's exactly what I did with Harlan Ellison's book. I left it on a bus.
well, I hope someone enjoyed it.
Captain so do I, yeah.
Yeah. I cannot go to one anti-derivative Star Trek show without getting a new talking point. Degrees of canon discussed this week. Thanks, Jill. You're welcome. And hello to Big Daddy MRI. How does one get the
I?
Oh, well, that's a membership badge.
Just click join. Tell your friends. But it's good to see you, Big Daddy.
Daddy? Says Snortopoopas. What did you do on the old Trek series? Son, I used the stick to make the blinky things blink. I would be proud of that. Next, you will be telling us the doors don't open by themselves. They don't.
Yeah, sorry. Burst the bubble.
But it inspired grocery stores across the planet.
Right now, it's everywhere.
Big Daddy MRI says I'm on my iPhone. I don't see the membership icon, which is weird. You can join the channel to get one. I'm not sure how much it costs, though.
What are your tiers, Jill?
There's tiers, 3 tiers.
Yeah, my tiers, I made them a little bit, I made them inexpensive. Let's see.
I know there's 99 cents and $4.99. I forget what the middle one is.
That's strange the iPhone doesn't have the option. It should be down below where you can do super chats, I believe.
It says 99 cents for Series Superstars, $2.99 for Anti-Derivative Avengers, and $4.99 for Plus C Nation Integrators. And there you go. And if you click the little dots, if you haven't yet, if you click the little dots next to the membership, if you don't want to buy a membership now, make sure to go to your gift settings and allow gifts. If you want to be able to get gifts for free, if someone else buys a gift membership for you, it's possible. It could happen. So if someone buys a gift membership, it'll randomly get assigned to somebody. But now I'm getting distracted and I don't have that much time for this episode. Let's get back.
You have 25 minutes, Jill, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
But we're almost at the end. It's just Spock saying that he
Oh, yes. The most glaring production issue in terms of all of Star Trek. Hilarious. Let me illuminate. So they get into the turbo lift, and Spock says deck 2. The deck immediately below the bridge, and it takes approximately 4.5 minutes to get one deck down.
Very slow trip.
It's just amazing. It's one of, oh my God, all you had to do is say, take me to deck 7. What are you doing? Anyway, I find it awesome every time I see it. And I think there's a YouTube video about it, and it shows the diagram of how long, like just not even inching, just slowly moving like molasses in January. It's awesome. So there you go. There's the biggest production issue.
Oh, wow. Yeah. But there's also...
You underestimate yourself, Commander.
You realize... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
That's where she should have said, No, I let down my people. If I go back, I'll be executed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, she could have said that, but instead she says that pretty soon we'll learn how to penetrate the cloaking device that you stole. And so that's where Spock says, military secrets are the most fleeting of all. I hope that you and I exchanged something more permanent. So that was some kind of admission that he had some kind of emotional effect. He was not unaffected by her. And she was not unaffected by him, obviously, because she messed up quite a bit.
Well, and
So,
this could be one of the first steps towards Spock's lifelong desire for reunification. In terms of
that's a great point.
the intimacy that was shared there was carried forward in terms of the mutual respect shown by the Romulan commander.
Absolutely. I love that idea. Thank you. Thank you. That is brilliant. I think that is possible. But we're at the part of the show where we can give our reviews. So please, Pop Culture Curator, what do you think of this episode?
I would have to give this episode an A+. It's definitely a highlight of the third season. There's something I haven't mentioned, which I'm going to bring up now, but this episode right here, it specifically is one of the reasons why I do not like TNG. And to elaborate on that point, it's the specific line where Scotty says, "We'll blow up our ship and we'll take as many of you down as possible with it." That was something I never saw in the TNG cast. That sort of dedication around the ship. That's why I never liked Geordi LaForge. As I'm sorry, guys, I'm saying everything's going to get me killed. I never liked Geordi LaForge as an engineer because I never saw that. I never saw any guts. I never saw any camaraderie or bravery like that, dedication. So every time people would bring up, well, what's wrong with TNG? You know, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with that? I'd always bring up that specific scene from this specific episode. And it was believable. When Scotty says it, you could believe it. If Geordi would say it, I wouldn't believe it.
Well,
but yes, go ahead.
Where Silence has lease, where the Enterprise is in the second season, Enterprise D is trapped by Nagilum in a dead zone of space. They do attempt to destroy the ship and to avoid capture and whatnot. It does happen, but I understand.
There are actually a lot of times where Picard is like, okay, I guess we gotta self-destruct now, and so then he needs Riker to do the thing, and of course there's something that stops that from having to happen.
Yes, I always found it more believable in this episode.
Gotcha.
In fact, I'd have to say it's my favorite Scotty moment out of the entire series.
Yeah, there's lots of good Scotty stuff, and that's definitely a big highlight for me too. That's your review?
Well, other than I have to say, I think they did well with the cut of the budget. Obviously, it's like 25% less than what they had before. Mm-hmm. They did well.
I agree.
Right, so it's not so obvious. It could easily blend in with the first two seasons. And great casting with the Joan or Joanne Linville. But yeah, that's my review. I know you don't have a lot of time, but thank you for giving me.
Yeah, but we don't have to rush like 20 minutes. I got technically I have 25 minutes. I can get ready in 5 minutes if I have to. Scotty, what do you
then I have a question for you, Jill.
Okay, sure.
Do you think it seems to be a common trope with Star? I know at least because obviously you guys know I wasn't
Can you repeat the question because it roboted a bit? You roboted for me a little bit, and it's running together. So could you repeat again?
Yeah. As you know, I'm not too familiar with the TNG moving forward, but in your opinion, Jill, between TOS and the animated series, it seemed to be a common trope, in my opinion, where they made the women automatically make a lot of mistakes and do stupid things and illogical matters out of love. Does the question make sense?
What's the question?
Well, the question, like for example, like the commander here, she went above and beyond making a lot of mistakes and making herself look stupid.
Well, I believe
we had MacGyver's with
wasn't just stupid. I thought that for most of the time that she thought she was actually making political headway with Spock, that she thought that she was getting to his Vulcan pride, and that he really did want. She was convinced that he really did want a command, and so it's just that Spock is just really good at convincing her, and it is unfortunate that she doesn't question it. I think a good Romulan commander would have, but what is the question exactly? I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know it, and this kind of it might be crazy, but it just seems like they make and in several episodes, like I've said, they've made the women make really stupid decisions when they fall in love with the men, which put their ships into jeopardy.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate if that happens, but I don't think she's completely stupid. But yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, but it seems to be women and not men. I'm saying that to actually defend women because I mean it's Christine Chapel did it several times in the animated series,
Oh
and it
no,
just seems like
yeah,
a
that was a
common thing. And then,
terrible episode.
well, and
The
like I
mud
said,
one.
and
That
Marla
was
MacGyver's with Khan. I mean, she put the whole ship at jeopardy because what she did. So it just seems like with in these, from my opinion, TOS is an animated series. There was many times where the women just like immediately fell in love with the man above and beyond the point where she even put their crew in their jeopardy in the mission, or the mission and the crew in jeopardy. But I don't know. That's just an observation.
yeah. It is an observation, not quite a question, but yeah, it did happen. It didn't. It's the 1960s, so I guess I put it in the context of like what happened
Well,
in
would you
terms of
say do they
how
do
they.
that very much in like TNG moving forward? That
Whoa,
you guys can
no,
remember?
they do it more to Riker. Like they flip it.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Okay.
So,
I'm not going to defend Riker, but
no, he likes being taken advantage of, right?
That's his jam. Yeah, he likes a strong woman who
Anyway,
will try and take over the ship with a game.
Scotty,
Thank you.
what do you? You're welcome. What do you give this episode?
I'm giving it a B. I like this episode, but it's not. I wouldn't even put it in my top 3 for the third season. I enjoy it. I think that the first half is a little contrived with Spock or with Kirk going crazy, and then it's all subterfuge to do that, to go and steal the cloaking device. Plus, I as I mentioned before, the Romulan commander, she doesn't really do anything for me. Just personal preference. I don't find her very engaging. Even her command style when Kirk is sort of going toe to toe. It's a good thing that Kirk gets taken out of the episode soon so that he doesn't actually have to interact with her, because I find her to be somewhat of a weaker antagonist. And also, it has always made me curious, although there are some sort of head canon or maybe even beta canon in terms of the Treaty of Algeron and the use of the cloaking device. I just think that this is one of those things where when Starfleet is not wearing the white hat and not working in just methodologies, I think that this is something that is the closest to an original series Section 31 episode. And while I understand it in wartime and I appreciate it in Deep Space Nine, I do not like Section 31. And for it to even have a passing shadow in this episode just makes me go, this isn't what Starfleet is about. Like, this is... aren't they supposed to be explorers? And yes, I know it's a quasi-military, and I know that there are defenses of Federation space that must be done, but this is not the good guy heroes of my Starfleet, and so it's interesting. I like the intrigue of it, but upon further scrutiny, it's a B, so it's still not a bad episode. But there are others this season that I put above it.
Well, I have to add, if I may, it is possible that Kirk could be in contact with Starfleet without Uhura being involved.
Oh, of course.
Yes, yeah, and he was, and this was something that was agreed to by the Federation, and possibly there might have been something to do with Starfleet too that we didn't get to hear about, because I don't know. I wonder what was in the first draft script, because there was a lot that was cut from Dorothy Fontana's original intent, and so I really need to dig into that. And I don't like Section 31 either. it was completely a terrible move to just to retcon all of Star Trek history and say that these jerks have been hiding in the shadows ever since the beginning of Star. Like,
When did they
what?
first mention this
Makes
Section
sense.
31? Was that TNG?
Oh
Deep Space
no,
Nine.
it was Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space
Ira
Nine.
Stephen Bear decided it was a super cool idea, and
Gotcha.
it would have been cool if it originated during the Dominion War, and then I would have understood it. But
It did.
to what? No, it didn't.
Oh, you mean in terms of the canonical
organization
history
was created.
being
If
on
they created
Enterprise?
the organization then and there, I would get it. But they had to. He had to just rack up the whole entire history, and it's been infuriating to me.
Well, and that's also people again. It opens the door to things like this as being a Section 31 operation. People have speculated that Colonel West and Admiral Cartwright and Lieutenant Valeris were sort of influenced by Section 31. The ripples of that decision, they've crashed into many plots and made headcanon, beta canon, and apocrypha throughout Star Trek history, to the point that we have an Academy Award winner doing a special event television movie in the future.
Oh my God, no, we don't. She's never going to do that.
She is. She's already announced. Like I don't know what's going on with it, but she has reaffirmed that she is looking forward to rejoining her Star Trek family.
Oh my God.
I know.
What?
Oh, Jill,
I doubt that. Yeah, her career after that movie last year, Everything Everywhere All at Once, her career really bloomed again. I think it's in her second resurgence or second wind, so very unlikely.
Michelle,
it may happen. I could be wrong.
We've got better things to do, Michelle. Don't do it.
Right. Anything better would be better than trying to go back to Star Trek. I mean, her career is really doing good right now. I think that would be a bad mistake, in my opinion. But
that's also like Brendan. That's like Brendan Fraser going back to the last season of Doom Patrol, which a thing. Same with like Helen Hunt going back to the last couple of seasons of Mad About You. It does happen.
Well, Ke Kwan won an Academy Award for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and he was just in the recent Marvel series. I was like,
that Loki show. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh no.
So, I haven't seen it.
And Infinity does mention retcons are not canon. This is known. Well, my problem is that I consider everything from 66 to 2005 Star Trek, so I have to acknowledge our Stephen Bear's contributions, and we did. But I don't think that this goes into Section 31 levels of deception and malice. Or whatever. I think that this is a very upstanding kind of, like, if there is any such thing as an upstanding way to invade an alien force and steal their technology, there's a good reason for this one. It's like it's either us or them, man. And so A-, I give this one an A-. I'm completely enchanted not only with the Spock line throughout the episode and loyalty to the Enterprise. And sure, it's a little bit easy for him to do it, but also I do like his method of flirting with the commander. It is crafted with some finesse that that Dorothy Fontana had to go in there and fix it, and we're used to only seeing Captain Kirk do this, so we finally get to see Spock fall in love without the need for spores. Showing on screen from Dorothy Fontana herself that sensuality can come from a Vulcan outside of Ponfar. For whatever reason, I don't think that the Federation would never ever do any spy work whatsoever. And Dorothy Fontana provides the perfect reasoning for that. If we can't detect Romulans, we'll be susceptible to being overtaken by them. So it's very important to keep up with being able to deal with their cloaking technology. And I wouldn't have minded myself if after this episode Scotty learned how to create a cloak for the Enterprise and the rest of Starfleet could have this technology. Gaining the technology in Deep Space Nine didn't stop the Defiant from cloaking. And really, I don't think it would have been so bad to have it, except that Gene didn't want it, and we love Gene, so we did what he wanted, which is fine, and most of the time. But this time, I don't see anything wrong with being able to cloak, as long as, in general, the Federation values are upheld.
Well, Gene Roddenberry didn't have really much hands-on during the third season, did he?
No, he kind of like sent in he sent notes and things.
Phoned it in.
Yeah, he had to phone it in because he had to step away because he wanted to retain respect with the network, and since he gave them an ultimatum, he wanted to stand by it, and so any kind of help he gave was from a distance, unfortunately, in season 3.
So in other words, he was with it in name only, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I don't think that the Enterprise or anyone else in Starfleet would suddenly become like Section 31 or like the Romulans or the Klingons or anything just because they have a cloak. It's just a defense mechanism. So I don't see a problem with having it.
Well, if they would have had Section 31, they wouldn't have sent the Enterprise on this mission.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't even know why I even mentioned them. I don't like them because it's real Star Trek.
That's okay.
Well, anyway, I'm in love with Spock. The end.
Long story
Enough
short.
said.
No. So I also like seeing things from the enemy perspective, and this is cool to see things from where Star Trek kind of seems like the villain, I guess, from the Romulans' perspective. They're getting invaded here, and so I like when things are shown from the enemy side as them being, it's cool when the audience can kind of be sympathetic to them, and this is one of the things that carries forth in future Star Trek shows, and this is splendidly planted here. So thanks to this one for paving the way for that. And there's lots of examples for that. One of the ones that comes to mind was a good episode called Face of the Enemy, where Counselor Troy becomes a spy. And it's actually a really good episode. It's a really great episode, actually, because she's completely out of character and she is confident and she undertakes the complexities of Romulan politics and treachery and even engineering. I liked her. I liked her as a Romulan spy. She should have she was much better in this episode than any other one.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Mm-hmm. And actually, Joanne, Joanne Linville was even going to be in the episode, but she was unavailable. And we got Carolyn Seymour.
Huh. And Carolyn Seymour is amazing. She just recently celebrated her birthday.
Yeah. And so as a little bonus here's DC Fontana's review of her own episode. Overall, it was not a bad episode, but I did have a lot of complaints about it and things that weren't approached or handled right. Let's face it, the romantic scene between the Romulan commander and Spock was totally out of context. Any Romulan worth her salt would have instantly suspected Spock because they are related races. That was wrong. Kirk's attitudes were wrong. A simple thing, the cloaking device, was supposed to be a very small thing, about the size of a watch, that could be easily hidden. Here, Kirk's running around with this thing that looks like a lamp, highly visible. This is stupidity, as well as illogical thinking. Visually, it was stupid. Conceptually, it was very bad. There were a lot of little things that were changed, but my biggest objection is the scene between Spock and the woman, because I really did not believe it. And I did not believe that the Romulan did not suspect Spock of something underhanded. She does know enough about Vulcan and Vulcans to know that something's afoot. And this comes from Captain's Log, the unauthorized complete Trek voyage.
So I'm glad that she was aware of that. So that's exactly some of the points I was bringing up.
Exactly. Yes, that's why I wanted to read her own review of her own episode. And after hearing from you, I wanted to read it even more because it lines up with what you were thinking. So I think that Scotty said he wanted to look at the remastered. We might have just enough time to look at that, and then we have to leave. So we got about 9 minutes. Let's see, the remaster for the Enterprise.
A quick question, Jill. You're going to keep all your streams at the same times, even with the time change and everything, right?
Correct. And that means it's going to be an hour later for you.
Which is fine. I can adjust. I just want to clarify. We've been having all that discussion lately over time change.
Mm-hmm. And I realize that's difficult for somebody who doesn't have to time travel like the rest of us.
Right. Makes it much easier for me, actually.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Oh man, I got 60 chats. What's going on?
Oh my.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to share my screen again so we can look at the remastered.
Yep.
Can you guys hear that?
No.
I can't hear it. I can't hear it either. What's going on?
Well, it's just a visual comparison. We don't necessarily have to hear it.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Here we go. There it is.
There it is.
I can hear it now.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just gonna scroll through it and see what's interesting. Were there any things in particular you needed?
Whether or not there were 3 Klingon ships, or if there was 2 Klingon ships and 1 Romulan.
And at the end, with the Enterprise escaping the Romulans.
Here we go.
Yeah, there you go. So it is all 3D7s.
That's right.
Yep. Right. No bird of
There
prey.
you go. No bird of prey, except for on my wine glass. I've got one.
Nice.
And that's the credits. We don't need that. We don't need that one either. Oh, look. Oh, that's cool. I like that. These are great. Thanks to the Trekkie channel for making these comparisons so easy to scroll through.
Preach to Dr. McCoy.
Let's see here. I just like seeing that.
Oh, the difference between the cloaks with them cloaking. Nice.
Oh, when do we do that? Is that here?
Sub-Commander, the enemy vessel is
Sub
moving
Commander.
away at extreme.
Yeah, it's coming up right about here.
Right here. Okay. Almost
there. Oh, we're almost there.
Well, where is it?
Here.
Oh, here we go.
Weapons officer, commence fire.
Yep, that's what I thought. See, from front to rear.
Yeah, that was yes. And so the whole thing goes out for the original. Like at once.
Right, all at once.
Weapons officer,
Wow. I think that's it. Thank you guys. Thank you, Scotty, for suggesting that.
Well, it's always interesting.
Put our mind to rest. Mine's
Yeah, we know. Yes, we were all worried about it. I'm very happy now. And Snortapoop says, and that takes him 3 hours to get there because Spock reprogrammed the turbo lift to take the scenic route.
Yes.
Hey, what is he, a cab driver?
He just wanted more time with the sexy lady.
Mm-hmm. He probably did. No. To learn more about her. Brogu says, thank you, Jill. This was a great show. I look forward to the next one. You're welcome, Brogu.
I agree with Brogu.
Next week it's going to be And the Children Shall Lead. I think Hungry Boy is going to be here for sure. Possibly Admiral Teague. I will see. Snortapoopus Cuber says, some oopsies, but otherwise a solid episode. I was just going to bring up where silence has lease. On TNG, there were family and children on board. And Stone Rocket is with Pop. TNG is too beta for me as well. When we get down to the brass tacks. Yeah. Well, because the reason is because I've said it before, Picard is just a subset of some of Kirk's attributes in terms of not attacking unless it's the very last resort, except that's most of his character.
Right, and he needs therapy first.
Well, and also one of the things about the Next Generation being less action oriented, if in terms of in-universe explanation, part of the peaceful exploration that Jean-Luc's enterprise enjoys was secured by the actions of Kirk, Spock, Sulu, Harriman. Like the Next Generation, the beginning of the Next Generation represents the golden era of Starfleet and being peaceful and having that confidence to be able to take your family out to boldly go where no one has gone before, because nothing could stop the Federation at that point. And it wasn't until the encounter with the Borg and subsequently the Klingon Civil War and then the Dominion War, which showed that the Starfleet was in fact fallible. It had 100-year golden era after the events of Star Trek VI, where they established peace in the Alpha and Beta quadrants, and that was the environment in which the 24th century explorations were enjoying until
right. But you're also glossing over. Go ahead. Sorry. Well, I was going to say you're also glossing over one big elephant in the room, and that is the subplots. I mean,
that's not an elephant in the room. That's storytelling on a basic level.
I know, but I'm saying regardless of whether the Federation would be more at peace and less risk of danger and all that good stuff. Another thing that separates TOS and TNG are the subplots, which
that's a distaste really on your part.
For me.
Yeah, that's a distaste on storytelling from your part, not necessarily a breaking of canon or the universe itself.
Right. Well, because that was whenever you have an influence by nighttime soap operas like Dallas and all that, Knots Landing and everything, all that had integrated television to where everything had to have subplots.
So Scotty, you're saying after they toss the TNG crew into Borg territory, they should have just sent all the children home?
Yes, I agree with that.
Well,
or into space. I'm just kidding.
No, back to their home world.
Drop them off at the nearest star base. How about that, huh?
Well, with the families.
I think that Trek Yards has approached it, and I know that there are other people who have sort of discussed the nature of Starfleet in the 24th century, but the Galaxy-class starship, as you've mentioned, in terms of it looking like a hotel lobby or like a cruise liner.
Or a love boat.
The love boat. That is the representation of the universe of Starfleet.
Right. Every time Loxana Troy was on there, it was the love boat episode. She was always trying to make it with somebody.
I like Loxana sometimes.
Oh, and I like
when they're not overriding her. Yes, of course. I love Half a Life is my favorite Loxana.
One of the few ones with Loxana that it wasn't a total farce.
Exactly.
Dark Page.
That's how she should have always been written. Dark Page 2, where we learn about Troy. Season 7 was a lot about family members that we didn't know about before, but this was a good one.
Kestra.
Learning about Troy's sister,
who she ultimately named her daughter after.
Oh, God!
It exists. Don't get mad at me.
I know it sounds worse and worse the more you delve into it.
I think that it's a fitting tribute to name your daughter after your deceased sister.
I know, but it sounds more like a soap opera. So,
I guess, but yeah, I know. And you said you weren't going to talk about.
I'm just referencing the Loxana Troy episode and the reverberations and references throughout the series.
Yes, it's true. You are.
Anyway, I do have to take my leave.
Yeah, I do too. I should have left a long time ago, but I had a few more chats here. Also, it goes along with the ridiculous Roddenberry revisionist crap, where Starfleet's no longer a paramilitary organization. And see, that's what I was thinking. I don't think that. I agree, but we don't have time to get into it now. Raymond says, so how the heck did Spock know that the Romulan commander was female? And Captain Finity says he looked up her pronouns. All we needed to do is figure out whether the Vulcan is the shared planet of the origin of Vulcans and Romulans, or just a colony of Vulcans only. I don't recall if Romulans yeah, they did. Romulans came from Vulcan, yes. And then they were just like, we're not down with your thing. We're going to leave. But obviously there's more to that story, but I have to run out and get my children. So I'll craft a live stream one day about how the Romulans left Vulcan and all that. That'd be a good idea for a live stream.
That'd be interesting.
And they didn't know, Raymond, that she was going to be female. So Spock was playing on the seat of his pants.
Well, I'm sure the plan would have been the same anyway. Just ingratiate yourself with the Romulans based on your common ancestry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I didn't play this one clip here. These two clips.
Military secrets are the most fleeting. Military secrets are the most fleeting of all. Somehow, they do not look aesthetically agreeable on humans.
Okay, so I'm going to play you guys out with the preview for next week's episode, the trailer for And the Children Shall Lead, which will be the episode we're going to review next week.
Call your lawyer.
And so,
all right, everybody.
Cheers, everyone.
Hey, do you have anything you want to share before we go?
Follow me on X at ScottyR37. I don't know how to work social media. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be revisiting, or actually not revisiting, visiting Fargo on the Phantasmagorium show. Me and Kat are talking about season 1 of Fargo in anticipation of season 5 with John Hamm. And then, and then I'm usually, as some people have observed, super glued to Jill. So subscribe to Jill's channel. Tell your friends.
We have a way of being able to converse with each other that makes being on YouTube lots of fun.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But also, what do you have going on, Pop Culture Curator?
Oh, tonight, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we're going to be covering the movie Hatchet on my horror sci-fi stream. And we will be returning to Gilligan's Island tomorrow, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, which is on Wednesdays. And on Saturdays, I'll do Rumblings from the Lab with Gorilla's Random Thoughts. And I'll be back on Monday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time with Lost in Space, Gorilla's Random Thoughts, PvP, and the wonderful Anite River Jill. Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome. Yes. And thank you guys for being here to help me review this episode. I couldn't have done it without y'all, at least not as expansive and buried in opinion as the show is crafted. Thanks to y'all.
It's definitely my pleasure.
Yeah, have a blast. It's great.
And I'll see you guys later. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Y'all have been fantastic and funny and smart and also very helpful to the content of this live stream. So thank you for all of your contributions and ideas that you decided to share with me today. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say next time. On Friday we're gonna look at Alien. So Alien 3. Alien.
Right.
I would have a lot of fun talking about Alien. But Alien 3 for some reason.
Straight to Alien 3.
Yeah, straight to Alien 3. I might mention my love of the first two to put into context. Why the heck are we looking at this one? So, anyway.
Because I love it. I love it.
I don't. Anyway, Dead Man are completely fine. Don't know anything, but it's always awesome to lurk. Oh, and pick up some cool info. I'm so glad you're here. And there's a reason why we call it the ED. What?
Jill, did you know Mark Cushman also wrote a book about I Spy?
No, I'd never even watched I Spy. No, to the next Trek episode. we can't skip anything. Oh, sorry. And okay, so getting on with your co-hosts is absolutely essential. And yes, thank you guys for being here and helping me put on this show. I will talk to you guys next time. Here's the preview for the next episode. See you guys later. Have a great Tuesday. Bye.
Live long and prosper.
Bye-bye, everybody.
I have been instructed to place you and Mr. Spock under arrest.
Hail, hail, fire and snow, call the angels, we will go far away, for to see, friendly angel, comes to me.
the video is all not there.
What, your credits video?
The trailer?
Oh, okay. Oh, the trailer. Did you guys see the trailer? I'm sorry.
I saw part of it.
Yeah,
I think.
we saw part of it.
I have been instructed to place you and Mr. Spock under arrest.
Hail, hail, fire and snow, call of the angels, we will go far away, for to see, friendly angel, comes to me.
Captain, stay away from the controls. If you touch them, we'll be destroyed. When did we change course?
We haven't changed.
Ring around the rosy.
So long as the children are present, there is danger.
We'll have to kill them.
The enemy have discovered our operation. They must be annihilated.
Go away or we'll kill you.
Busy.
Losing command. Losing the Enterprise.
Death to you all.
Captain, what's the Enterprise?
Death to you all.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.